The chapter opens on a frozen battlefield completely buried beneath falling snow. A lone man stands tall amid a massive mound of corpses, their dark blood staining the white ground beneath them. After a brief moment, he turns and notices a black-haired young man standing behind him, who is clearly caught off guard. The older man calmly wonders why Ash is standing there at all, reminding him that he was meant to be away on a subjugation mission. The young man's face is wounded, yet his gaze remains remarkably steady and resolute. He answers that he has come for one purpose only, to bring the man before him down. In response to this bold declaration, the blond man shows no sign of alarm. He remains composed, almost entirely indifferent, as though the threat means nothing to him. The younger man then accuses him of using people as simple tools, only to cast them aside once they have outlived their usefulness. Rage burns in his eyes as he addresses him as his father, revealing the complex bond between them. The older man responds coldly, stating that such manipulation is the natural role of someone like him and dismissing the young man as a foolish son. In that moment, the name of the protagonist is revealed as Aster, a young man firmly resolved to defy the fate imposed upon him. The scene shifts to the crest of House Line, a noble family feared and revered for its overwhelming strength. Known as the most powerful martial house on the continent, they have sworn their total loyalty to the royal family. At their head stands Lord Roderick, the only man in the kingdom said to possess the 7 wings. Long ago, he once saved a young boy from freezing to death in a blizzard, acting on nothing more than a passing whim. Bound by that single act, the boy devoted himself entirely to Roderick, obeying every command without question. Yet his life within the house was incredibly harsh. He was constantly belittled and treated as lesser. In one memory, he recalls standing with a broken wooden sword while other boys mocked him, telling him not to grow arrogant simply because he had been allowed to stay. The wing crest engraved upon his back symbolized great magical potential, but cruel irony followed him. He was the only one in the house who could not use magic at all. For this reason, even his own brothers tormented him, sneering and calling him wingless. Still, despite the endless scorn, he refused to surrender. He trained relentlessly, gripping his sword and pushing forward no matter how much it hurt. He drove his body to total exhaustion, performing push-ups in the pouring rain and forcing himself past his limits. He believed that unwavering devotion would eventually earn him recognition. The memory shifts again, showing him in a snow-covered forest alongside his companions. Sensing something wrong, the young man suddenly hides behind a tree, alert to an unfamiliar presence drawing closer. Shock washes over him when he realizes their group has been surrounded, and he wonders if they have fallen into an ambush. The scene snaps back to the present as he confronts his father, demanding to know whether his loyalty meant anything at all after such a betrayal. Roderick responds with disdain, stating that someone like Aster should never have harbored expectations and declaring that his role has ended. Hatred and bitterness twist across the young man's face at those words. Without hesitation, he charges forward, sword raised, determined to strike down the man who discarded him so easily. As he attacks, he admits that he was foolish to place his faith in someone like his father. He pours everything into the blow, condemning his own naivety even as the strike lands. Yet the result is pitiful. Roderick barely reacts, suffering nothing more than a shallow cut across his face. In an instant, 2 figures appear and bind Aster with chains formed of magical energy. They are his brothers. Without mercy, they assault him with glowing red swords, cutting into him as he struggles helplessly. Pain rips through his body as he cries out, trapped and unable to defend himself against their ruthless strikes. One brother sneers that someone without wings will always remain wingless as Aster lies beaten in the snow. The 3 loom over him, one of them remarking that such a position suits him well. Weakened and shaking, he asks why his father ever took him in if he planned to throw him away in the end. Roderick kneels before him and coldly tells him not to fool himself, stating that he was never useful as a person. Grabbing him by the hair, he forces Aster to look up, his gaze filled with contempt. He explains that the only thing he ever needed was the power of the 7 wings sleeping within. The boy is stunned. Aster cannot comprehend what the 7 wings truly are. Roderick then reveals that the boy's mother had been valuable to him for reasons far darker than affection. He explains that she carried what he needed, a seed meant to further his selfish ambition for greater power. Desperation overtakes the young man as he stretches his hand across the snow, trying to stop his father from walking away. His effort is meaningless. Hatred roars within his thoughts as he demands answers, but none come. All he feels is the icy snow against his stiffening fingers, his eyes empty and lost. He wonders if this moment marks the end of his path. He questions the meaning of his life and what purpose all his suffering ever served. Then, suddenly, everything fades into a warm, blinding white. Seeing snow once more, he wonders if he has crossed into the afterlife. He finds himself held in someone's arms, confused and unable to grasp what is happening. His eyes widen as he realizes this is no dream, it is real. He wonders where he is, feeling the cold air against his skin as he lies exposed in the snow. Looking down, he notices that his body is far too small. He raises a tiny hand, questioning whether it truly belongs to him. Slowly, the truth dawns on him. This is not merely a small body, it is the body of a newborn child. His gaze shifts to the woman holding him, and he realizes with horror that she is lifeless. Voices suddenly ring out nearby, and he sees a golden gleam in someone's eyes. As orders are shouted, men on horseback scour the blizzard, desperately searching for the woman. Their leader commands them to recover the baby she supposedly took from Roderick. Hearing that name sends a shock through him. As understanding begins to form, he realizes that Roderick was searching for a baby and that he himself is that child. He questions whether the infant suspended in this moment is truly him. Memories surface of being found in a blizzard, and he understands the impossible truth. He has returned to the past. Golden light surrounds him as his sense of reality fractures and reshapes, finding the situation absurd yet undeniable. He decides confirmation can wait. He knows one thing for certain: if he remains here, he will fall back into the Duke's grasp. Gathering what little strength he has, the newborn turns away from the lifeless woman and begins to crawl through the snow. Driven by a determination far greater than his fragile body suggests, golden light wraps around him, and he realizes that escape is his only option. His tiny hand begins to shine as he drags himself forward through the biting snow. Almost immediately, his breath grows uneven, and he lets out a strange sound, frustrated by lungs that refuse to work as they should. Every movement sends burning pain through his small limbs, and a clear trail forms behind him in the snow. Despite a past filled with humiliation and obedience, the boy swears to himself that he will not die here. A vision of his grim future flashes through his mind, showing his hand reaching toward Roderick in anger and despair. His face tightens with pure hatred as he makes a silent vow to take revenge on Roderick. Even trapped in the fragile body of a newborn, he keeps crawling across the endless white expanse. Eventually, exhaustion overwhelms him and he collapses unconscious just as his path is blocked by someone's feet. A small, white-haired girl notices the baby lying in the snow and calls out to her father in alarm. In response, a gray-haired man steps forward. He is the Viscount of House Highfried. He lifts the child into his arms, wondering aloud what a baby could possibly be doing in such a deadly place. Held against the man's chest, the boy finally feels a sense of calm. The Viscount's eyes widen as he realizes how unbelievable the situation is, having never imagined finding an infant there. As he studies the child more closely, curiosity grows within him. He then notices the long trail carved through the snow, and is stunned by how far the baby must have crawled alone.